Sony and Microsoft, you're both guilty on this one. Welcome back to another video. This is Hector from Not Too Nerdy, and today we're going to be talking about Cyberpunk 2077. This game has a lot of issues. Now, before I get started with that video though, if you guys are new to my channel, hit that subscribe button, then hit that bell notification. This way you guys get notified each and every time I put up a video. Now let's get started. As we know, Cyberpunk was released and it had a bunch of issues on the PlayStation 4 and also the Xbox One. These are the base consoles, and they also have it for PS5 and Xbox Series, but unfortunately it's still the base version, right? It's not the real version for those games. And they have the PC version, which is actually better than what's going on right now. So you guys already know that Sony already pretty much recalled the game and are giving people refunds for the game and are pulling it off the store. Now everyone's praising Sony for doing this. Microsoft as well. They're saying that, you know, if anything happens, Microsoft already has a policy where you get refunds anyway. So people are praising them and everything. And they're putting down CD Projekt Red. Rightfully so, you should put down that company because they release a horrible mess. That game, they pretty much did a bait and switch. You know, it reminds me of Watch Dogs. When Watch Dogs came out, it was not what was advertised. You know, they kept showing gameplay and everything for Watch Dogs. The next thing you know, the actual game came out and it was horrible. It was glitchy, it was messy, and it looked nothing like what they promised it was going to be. Same thing happened for this game, Cyberpunk. Every gameplay that they showed, it looked amazing. It looked like it's a different type of world, and it just looked like an awesome futuristic style world. And the game comes out and it's nothing like that. Like, you can't even continue playing the game without the game crashing or something happening. So that's a huge issue where you can't even play the game. And on top of it, it looks nothing like it was supposed to look before. It's a huge downgrade. So that's a classic bait and switch. They show you one thing and they release something else. Then if you look into all the review copies people got and what they're allowed to show for gameplay footage, a lot of people got special B-roll footage from the company itself to show you certain gameplay instead of actually showing the real gameplay that they had. It's a big mess, but I'm not here to talk about that. What I'm here to talk about is something that everyone else is missing. The big picture on this. Everyone's praising Sony for going ahead and pulling it off the site, right? Which is great. It's a good thing that they did that. However, when a game goes gold, okay? When it goes gold, whether it's for, let's say, Microsoft, whether it's for Sony, the way it works is this. Usually the developers with their publishers, in this situation it's the same company. In other situations, developers and publishers sit down and they have a release date, right? They're prepared to say, okay, 90% of this game is done. We may have some patches and everything else that we have to send over, but the game looks completely finished. They're ready to go. Sometimes the developers think the game is not finished and the publishers say they don't care. They have to get it out on this date because it equals more money. Whatever the case may be, when they're ready to go, they bring it to the company like Xbox or PlayStation and they present the game to them. And they say, hey, we are gold now. And then guess what happens? It is up to Microsoft and Sony to sit down with them and actually go over the game and check the game themselves. So as they're checking the games, they're the ones that decide if the game is ready to be brought out to everyone else. So the fact that people are criticizing CD Projekt Red, they deserve it. But do not forget that Sony and Microsoft were supposed to check the game before its release. They're the ones that looked at the game and said, this game is good enough to be released on our consoles. The fact that they were able to do that is horrible on their end. So let me get further into this, right? Either two things happen. One, no one even looked at the game and they just took the company's word for it and said, you know what, they did some great games like The Witcher in the past. I'm sure they're gonna do another great game. So we're not even gonna check that game out. Or two, they did see the game. They may have noticed some glitches, but they still took the company's word for it and said, you know what, we trust you. We trust that you're going to have a patch on day one. And they sat there and waited and let this company release a game that was not finished, a game that's a glitchy mess, a game that should have not been gold. They let that happen. So I sit here and see people praising Sony and praising Microsoft, even though Microsoft didn't do anything yet. They sit there and they say, well, it's CD Projekt Red's fault. And no one's realizing that it's just as much Xbox and PlayStation's fault as it is the developers. The reason why is because they have the final say on what gets sold on their console. In fact, that's the reason why Sony pull it off, right? They pull it off their website. It's not because that they're like, oh, well, you know, people are asking for refunds and stuff like that. We better pull it off now. It's because so many people ask for refunds that they realize if there is a lawsuit, they're the ones that's gonna be held responsible because they're the ones that are selling it on their site. They're the ones that's advertising as a finished product on their site. When the class action lawsuit occurs for something like this, because this is false advertising, the developers are not the only ones that get in trouble. Sony and Microsoft will both get in trouble for it. Now, Microsoft then pull off their site, more than likely because Microsoft has a deal, a partnership with CD Projekt Red for Cyberpunk. They didn't do anything yet, or at least they didn't announce anything at this moment. So they're probably gonna fix everything and release a patch or do whatever they're going to do. But the point is, what Sony did, people are praising that they did that. That's great. They did something good. So what you're forgetting, one huge thing is that they're the ones that okayed it to begin with. And it should have never been okay. That's just not the way it works. Someone screwed up. Someone trusted someone allowed something to get through, and they were able to release a game that was not ready. And to be honest with you, it's kind of sketchy that the game was released and they didn't let people show certain footage of the game, and you know, the game's obviously not completed, and you see a whole bunch of mess. Don't act like you weren't expecting this. The people that say, oh, they're expecting a better game. The game released on Amazon and other places to buy it. They were selling the game for $50. If you look right now, you can still get the physical copy for $50. In a big budget AAA game, when is the last time that you've seen a big budget game like this, that's an open world game, that's futuristic, that has, you know, celebrities and other things in it? Are they going to start charging the game for $50? Please explain to me why they will charge a game for $50. That price right there lets me know that someone, whether it's CD Projekt Red or Sony or Microsoft, someone knew that something in this game is not worth the $60. And that, to you as a consumer, should make you worry, because someone let this slip through the cracks and no one checked them, no one said anything. Why? Because the CD Projekt Red, they have a great background. They won, you know, Game Awards in the past, right? Because from The Witcher to Witcher 3, like all these games that were supposed to be the best, right? I think they were afraid to miss this holiday season. And also, if you miss this holiday season, you pretty much missed all the people from last gen, right? So you missed the Xbox One, you missed the PlayStation 4 people. I understand what they're thinking, right? You lose out on a lot of money. But right now, what they just did right now, it's just screwed up so many people. And I love how people are like, I can't believe this happened. This has never happened before. There's been plenty of times where a game has been hyped up so much and it comes out and it's not what it's expected. So please stop pretending like you're so shocked that something like this happened. Like, you're not that shocked. As much as people want to say they're shocked, they're really not that shocked. This game has been in production for a long time. This is not the first time a big budget game that's been in production for a long time came out and it's not what everyone expected it to be. The only difference is that you have people like right now, Microsoft and Sony, that want games to be released and they're not doing their jobs, which their job is to make sure that those games are ready to be released. I think this game right here, this release is going to change things, is because now Sony and Microsoft are going to go back to making sure that games that they release on their consoles do not end up like this. The fact you have to pull down a big budget game off your site, whether it's your fault or not, in the end, it is your fault because you allowed it on your console. Therefore, it's your fault. That's it. There's no secret. All I hear from everyone else, I'm looking at all this stuff and I see people talk about CD Projekt Red, this may kill them, it's not just them, okay? This is a lot bigger than just the developer. This has to do with Microsoft and PlayStation both allowing games to be on their consoles and thinking that it's okay to sell that to their consumers. That's not okay at all. So the people that keep blaming CD Projekt Red, they deserve it. But remember who else is to blame. And someone knew that something wasn't right with this game. There's a reason why there was discounts all over for this game before it was released. On release day, discounts everywhere. That doesn't happen for brand new AAA games. Okay, so someone has to explain something a little bit further in this. And this may kill CD Projekt Red in the future. It may kill them. Like, honestly, I wouldn't even be shocked if they just say, we can't even fix this game, we're done, we're scrapping it, we're done with this project. Because they may cost them more money to sit down there and try to fix it for these consoles rather than just give people a refund and move on. Because at this point, I honestly don't know. Now, I may be over exaggerating there, maybe they might fix it. You shouldn't be shocked about this. you heard stories about how they kept delaying it, and also when they delayed it the most recent time, they then worked 6-day work weeks and made their employees work a lot of hours each day to try to finish something. When you go gold, how are you having people after you went gold work 6 days a week to finish for patches? It doesn't even make sense. The fact that Sony allowed this, right? The fact that Microsoft allowed this and said nothing, it's really just, it's unbelievable, to be honest with you, because they're the ones that are more experienced. No matter how much experience this company, CD Projekt Red, has, Sony and Microsoft have more experience. They're supposed to check these games before their release, and that should scare you, knowing that they allow games in their company to get through the cracks and present it as a finished product, and it's not. So the only reason why Sony actually are accepting refunds, and mark my words, is because they're afraid of a lawsuit themselves. Sony doesn't do refunds for digital refunds at all. It doesn't matter if you download a game, you never played it once, Sony is not going to allow a refund. And if they do, they usually ban you for something anyway. So Sony doesn't do that. So obviously Sony was spooked about something and they had to remove it. So don't think for 1 second Sony did it to benefit you. In the long run, they did it to benefit themselves because they realized that they made a mistake. Someone made a mistake, and that's pretty much it. So that's my rant for right now. I usually don't do rant videos, or I haven't done one in a while, and I try to keep it clean because I was more upset with Sony and Microsoft than I was with CD Projekt Red, because developers try to do that, publishers, they try to release the game before it's finished, right? But it's up to the companies like Microsoft and Sony to do this. Now, I didn't mention Nintendo because Nintendo usually does their job and they make sure there's not crappy games on their service. But Microsoft and Sony have to do a better job, because that game right there should have never been released, in my opinion. But that's just my opinion, so let me know what your opinion is in the comments down below. This is Hector from Not Too Nerdy. Hopefully you liked this video. If you did not like it, let me know also in the comments down below. Sorry for that little rant, but I had to get it off my chest. This is Hector from Not Too Nerdy. I'm out. See you, YouTube.